Hi there, I'm Lisa Fox, and this is Meet the Candidates on iHeartRadio, and I'm here with George Whitesides, who's running for Congress in the 27th District, and he's here to tell us why he's amazing and we should vote for him. Hi, George.
Hey, Lisa. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So the election is getting close, and it's down to the wire. So this is a good chance for you to, for people to hear about you and get to know you, the personal side of George. So let's start with your background. Are you a local guy, family guy? Tell us about you personally.
Yeah, so I'm a dad. I've got a 12-year-old daughter named Maya, who's going on like 17, and I've got a 14-year-old son named George, and great kids, married to an amazing woman named Loretta Hidalgo Whitesides, and I realize we've been married now over 18 years, which is kind of amazing. And, we have been involved in the space industry, the aerospace industry, which is a really big part of our district, which sort of goes from Santa Clarita, North San Fernando Valley, up through Palmdale and Lancaster. This is the district where we broke the speed of sound for the first time. It's where we built the space shuttles. It's where we built some of America's most important sort of military aircraft. And, it's where I built a company called Virgin Galactic. We created about 700 good mortgage-paying jobs up in the district, which is super important. We need more local jobs up there. And I also served as chief of staff of NASA for President Obama.
Wow. Okay. So how did you kind of transition from that to wanting to go into politics?
Well, honestly, I really love solving problems. And I feel like we need more of that in Congress. Right now, we have the most dysfunctional Congress, the least productive Congress in over 50 years, right? Bunch of extreme folks. And we need more people who are going to roll up their sleeves, sort of reach across the aisle and tackle the biggest challenges that we've got, right? Because we've got big challenges. We got to address our housing crisis. Health care is too expensive. Local costs are too expensive. We need somebody who's focused on these issues. And right now, I think we don't have enough people who are doing that. And certainly our current incumbent, there's a guy named Mike Garcia, is on the wrong side a lot of these issues.
So you have the, the bigger things, but then locally, I mean, how does that differ from what you do, the bigger picture sense of the words versus locally here for people in Southern California?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have big challenges locally, right? I mean, we really do need to create more local jobs. In the 27th District, we have about 100,000 people who drive down into LA every week, right? And they're spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day on the road. It's really hard because you have to get on the road now. If you're coming in from Palmdale, at 4:30, if you get on the road by 5:30, you're stuck in bumper to bumper all the way down into LA, right? And so people are really hungry for local jobs. That's something that I have demonstrated experience with. I'm really proud of the apprenticeship programs that we created at my company, where we're taking kids coming out of high school and the local community colleges. We are paying them to learn how to build aircraft and spacecraft, and then giving them great paying jobs at the end of their program. And I think that's the kind of thing that we need more of. So we're creating these great jobs where people can stay locally, they can afford a home locally, and they can raise their kids at great schools.
And not be stuck in traffic for 3 or 4 hours.
Exactly.
So name the cities exactly, the area that you cover that you're running for. It's a handful of cities. So
Yeah. So the main 3 cities are Santa Clarita, Palmdale, and Lancaster, but it also includes the northern part of the San Fernando Valley, so Granada Hills, Porter Ranch, and it also includes cities in the middle like Acton, Agua Dulce, those cities as well.
Now, how so far have you engaged with potential voters in the community?
Well, we're trying to get out everywhere we can, right? Radio,
social media.
I'm a big fan of billboards as well, because we have such a big commuter district. So we've been, making sure we get our message out on that way. But the number one way is really just to get out there in person, right? We were just at a trunk or treat event in Palmdale, right? And we're just out as much as we can. Local, chambers of commerce, local community organizations. We have some amazing community organizations in our district, and we just, I love our district. We have one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's a great place to live, but we need to do more. We need to keep reducing the cost of housing. We need to create, great local jobs. We need to do these things that make our local quality of life better.
Now, obviously, there's a party difference with the person that you're running against. But what are the main things you're hoping to accomplish if you win this election?
Great question. So, I would say top of the list, is we really need to keep working on these local economic issues. We need to generate local economic activity, keep lowering the cost of access. Key example of that is lowering the cost of medical care and drugs. medicines. You probably saw recently Mike Johnson just this week said that the Republicans were going to be going after the Affordable Care Act. I'm actually old enough to remember a time when insurance companies could, basically take a pre-existing condition and keep you off insurance. We don't want to go back to those days. Those days were terrible, right? So we need to make sure that we're protecting, our health care, lowering the cost of drug access. My opponent, Mike Garcia, voted against enabling the government to negotiate drug prices with drug manufacturers, right? I think that's a bad thing. My opponent voted against capping the price of insulin. So we need to keep working on reducing these costs that people have. Another big example is making sure that people, women have the right to choose, right? So my opponent, Mike Garcia, co-sponsored twice a bill that would ban abortion nationwide in this country, even in cases of rape and incest. I think that is wrong. It's very different from the values of our community, which voted for Proposition 1, which enshrines reproductive freedom in the California state constitution by nearly 20 points, right? So protecting reproductive freedom, lowering costs, and also protecting Social Security. My opponent supports a budget, the Republican Study Committee budget, that would drastically cut Social Security and also privatize Medicare. These are things that are against the interests of our community, and I want to protect them for the folks in my community.
I can hear your passion in all these topics. Where can people get kind of a more in-depth look at your stance on things? Your website, easy to find?
Easy to find. So it's just my name, GeorgeWhitesides.com. And if anybody wants to plug into the campaign in the final bit, they can do that. They can, sign up for door knocking or come on board for phone
what's
banking.
Door knocking? What's that?
So that's like when you volunteer to help get the word out about our campaign and make sure that people have their, voting information. It's really important. I find elections, it's a crazy season, right? And you see all these lies flying around on the airwaves. But what's inspiring about it is that people get to express, what they want for the future.
What you like, what you don't like.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's so important, no matter what the party you are, to get out there and vote, and get that ballot in, whether you are, filling out your mail-in ballot and turning it in, via the mailbox or via the ballot box, or just going in. A lot of people just prefer still to, go into that ballot box. Whatever it is, whatever party you are, it's really important to vote, because now's the time to make your voice heard.
Will the Whitesides family be doing it in person? It's kind of a thing. My boyfriend and I like to do it in person as well, get our little sticker and be like, yes, we did our part.
I love that. And, honestly, the last few years, my wife and I, we've actually been getting our kids involved in doing the ballot at home, because then you can sort of go through these different things and talk about, we have so many propositions in California and all these things. You got to do it
ahead of time.
It's a lot, let's be honest, it's a lot. And honestly, I think, that makes it sometimes intimidating, to people. But, the good news is that there are a lot of great resources that you can go online. Plan.lavote.gov is a great site, sort of helps you with all the information. You can find your polling information. There's great information, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed, and you can get it done.
And do it like a day before. Take some time. Set aside like an hour, would you say? Go through everything?
Yeah,
do
something like that.
Yeah.
But the key thing is make sure you get it in, because, this election, everything's on the line, right? We have reproductive freedom is on the line. We have Social Security. We have democracy. The guy that I'm running against, Mike Garcia, actually voted to overturn the election in 2020. And I think that that's disqualifying in and of itself, right? The transition of power between two presidents is really the most sacred part of American democracy. And if we can't trust you with that, then it's hard to trust you with with Congress.
And again, how do people get a hold of you and find out how to follow you and learn more about where you stand on things?
Well, we are on all the social platforms. So we're on, Facebook and Instagram. You can just search up George Whitesides, and even Twitter. We're there as well. And our website really does have all the information if people want to learn more about our positions, or whatever it is that they want to do if they want to volunteer.
Okay, wonderful. George, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the election.
Thank you so much.